Shalom, my heroes and Hebrews. Welcome back to our daily bread with the Oilfield Disciple. I am the Oilfield Disciple, and today we will be reading Genesis 19, Matthew 19, Psalms 20, and Proverbs 6. And then we will get our Hanging with the Prophets here in a little bit. I think I'm going to cruise over to the park to do that one. And so if you get your Bibles out, matter of fact, let me get mine out. Turn with me to Genesis chapter 6. Let me flip the camera around. Got a beautiful sky, some windmills. Kind of like it out here. It's peaceful, no traffic. Genesis chapter 19. You can kind of see that if you read 3 chapters of each of these a day, how quickly you can kind of move and navigate through the scriptures. Um, we didn't do our daily bread over the weekend. So this will be, what is that, 8, 19, 20. This will be day 21 that we've been doing this. I think I'll just, so there's no confusion, just do day 19 to keep the confusion down. So we ain't got nobody out there looking for day 19, day 20, or, yeah, day 19, day 20. Um, I was going to read Exodus on Shabbat. Um, and I apologize for not getting that made. Kind of just hung with the family Saturday. I didn't really do a whole lot. Just kind of visited with my wife and my daughter. Uh, did what we're supposed to do, and that's rest. And the way I've been working prior to coming into this crisis that we're facing here in America, um, I was highly overworked, and so it's been good to to be able to actually stop and observe Shabbat, and it's really making a big difference in my life. And I urge you, if you're not keeping Sabbath on the 7th day, Friday sundown to Saturday sundown, um, that you start praying about it to do it. Um, it's one of His commands. It's one of the commands of the Most High, and we are to do it. Um, and stop making an excuse about it. But anyway, let me get on with the scriptures. If you are new, welcome. If you have been following me for a while, welcome back. Thank you for staying with me. Um, I have the message that I brought to the congregation yesterday up on YouTube finally. Took it forever to download or upload. Also have a message of our sheriffs keeping their oath to the Constitution, regardless of what our governor said. And so, if you are new, we just read through the scriptures. We will read through this chapter of Genesis, and we will move to Psalms, on to Proverbs, and into Matthew. Now, if the Holy Spirit gives me something to expound on, I will. But really, this is just basically learning to just read the scriptures and get the scriptures in us. So, Bereshit, or Genesis, chapter 19, verse 1, says, "And the 2 messengers came to Sodom in the evening." Did I skip 18? No. Okay. "And the 2 messengers came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gate of Sodom. And when Lot saw them, he rose up to meet them. And he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. He said, 'Look, please, my masters, please turn into your servant's house and spend the night, and wash your feet, and rise early and go your way.' And they said, 'No, but let us spend the night in the open square.' But he urged them strongly. And they turned in to him and came to his house. And he made them a feast and baked unleavened bread, and they ate." Interesting that they would bake unleavened bread. Um, Let's continue on. We may come back to that verse. Before they lay down, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, both old and young, all the people from every part surrounded the house. And they called Lot and said to him, Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them to us, and let us know them. Now that word let us know them is the same as whenever a man goes into the tent with his new bride and knows her. They want to rape these angels. So Lot went out to them through the doorway and shut the door behind him and said, Please, my brothers, do not do evil. Look, please, I have 2 daughters who have not known a man. Please let me bring them out to you, and you do to them as you wish. Only do no deed to these men, because they have come under the shadow of my roof. Now Lot obviously knows that these are angels. He knows that these are men of Yahweh. Why else would he offer up his daughters? I mean, that one blows my mind right there, because I'm like, I don't know. Yahweh would have to put me in that situation for me to say otherwise. But as of right now, you ain't getting my daughters. I don't care who it is. But they said, Stand back. And they said, This one came in to sojourn, and should he always judge? Now we are going to treat you worse than them. So they pressed hard against the man Lot, and came near to break down the door. But the men reached out with their hands and pulled Lot in the house with them and shut the door. Then they struck the men who were at the doorway of the house with blindness, both small and great, and they worried themselves to find the door. And the men said to Lot, Have you anyone else here? A son-in-law, and your sons and your daughters, and whomever you have in the city, bring them out of this place. For we are going to destroy this place, because the cry against them has grown great before the face of Yahweh, and Yahweh has sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, who had married his daughters, and said, Get up, get out of this place, for Yahweh is going to destroy the city. But to his sons-in-law he seemed to be as one joking. And when morning dawned, the messengers urged Lot to hurry, saying, Get up, take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, lest you be consumed in the punishment of the city. And while he loitered, the men took hold of his hand and his wife's hand and the hands of his daughters, Yahweh having compassion on him, and they brought him out and set him outside the city. It came to be, when they had brought them outside, that he said, Escape for your life. Do not look behind you, nor stay anywhere in the plain. Escape to the mountains, lest you be consumed. And Lot said to them, Oh no, Yahweh, look, please, your servant has found favor in your eyes, and you have increased your loving commitment, which you have shown me by saving my life. But I am unable to escape to the mountains, lest calamity overtake me and I die. Look, please, the city is near enough to flee to, and it is small. Please let me escape there. Is it not a small matter? And let my life be saved. And he said to him, Look, I have favored you concerning this matter also, without overthrowing the city for which you have spoken. Hurry and escape there, for I am not able to do any deed until you arrive there. So the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun had risen upon the earth when Lot entered Zoar, and Yahweh rained sulfur and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah from Yahweh out of the heavens. So he overthrew those cities, and all the plain, and all the inhabitants of the cities, and what grew on the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a post of salt. And Abraham rose early in the morning, and went to the place where he had stood before Yahweh. And he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of the plain, and he looked and saw the smoke of the land, which went up like the smoke of a furnace. Thus it came to be, when Elohim destroyed the cities of the plain, that Elohim remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in which Lot had dwelt. And Lot went up out of Zoar, and dwelt in the mountains, and his 2 daughters were with him, for he was afraid to dwell in Zoar. And he and his 2 daughters dwelt in a cave. And the firstborn said to the younger, Our father is old, and there is no man on earth to come into us, as is the way of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine and lie with him, so that we preserve the seed of our father. This must have been a pretty atrocious act of Yahweh, because they're sitting there thinking we're the only ones left on the planet. You feel me? I mean, what these two young women are about to do are pretty, in our eyes, completely wicked. In which um, it is detestable. But um, we look at this act a lot of times of how nasty these young girls are. They just witnessed one hell of a light show, without even looking back towards the city. The sound must have been deafening. Can you imagine? When the Lord does something, He does it complete. He doesn't mess around. It wasn't just one hailstone hitting this city. It was a barrage. He totally obliterated it from the earth. So they're up there in this cave going, what in the hell just happened? We're the only ones left. Verse 32. Come, let us make our father drink wine and lie with him so that we preserve the seed of our father. So they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father. And he was not aware of it when she lay down or when she arose. And it came to be the next day that the firstborn said to the younger, See, I lay with father last night. Let us make him drink wine tonight as well, and you go in and lie with him, so that we keep the seed of our father. So they made their father drink wine that night as well, and the younger arose and lay with him, and he was not aware of it when she lay down or when she arose. Thus both the daughters of Lot became pregnant by their father. And the firstborn bore a son and called his name Moab, which is where we get the Moabites. He is the father of the Moabites this day. And the younger, she also bore a son and called him Ben-Ammi. He is the father of the children of Ammon to this day. Both of those are clans that will come to be a pain in the neck for the Israelites for generations to come. Now, the Moabites is where Ruth comes from, um, and where um, and Ruth being the line of the seed of uh, Dawid and Abraham. I mean, of Yeshua. Let's see, Psalms chapter 20. Tehillim chapter 20, verse 1 says, Yahweh does answer you in the day of distress. The name of Elohim of Jacob does set you on high. He does send you help from the set apart place, and does uphold you from Zion. He does remember all your offerings. He does accept your ascending offerings. Selah. He does give you according to your heart, and fills all your plans. We sing of your deliverance, and in the name of our Elohim we set up a banner. Yahweh does fill all your requests. Now I know that Yahweh shall save his anointed. He answers him from his set apart heavens, with the saving might of his right hand. Some trust in chariots and some horses, but we remember the name of Yahweh, our Elohim. What are you trusting in today? Are you trusting in the financial fortunes that you have created for yourself, or do you trust in Elohim? They have bowed down and fallen, but we have risen and established. Save Yahweh. Let the sovereign answer us in the day we call. Proverbs chapter 6. My son, if you have become guarantor for your friend, have shaken hands in the pledge for a stranger, have been snared by the words of your own mouth, have been caught by the words of your own mouth, do this at once, my son, and deliver yourself. For you have come into the land of your friend. Go, humble yourself and urge your friend. Give no sleep to your eyes, no slumber to your eyelids, and deliver yourself like a gazelle from the hunter's hand, and like a bird from the hand of the trapper. Go to the ant, you lazy one. See her ways and be wise, which have no commander, overseer, or ruler. Provides her supplies in the summer and gathers her food in the harvest. How long would you lie down, O lazy one? When do you rise from your sleep? a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to lie down. That bird is getting with it. And your poverty shall come like a prowler, and your need as an armed man. A man of Belial, a wicked man, walks in the perverse mouth, winks with his eyes, and shuffles his feet. He points with his fingers, perverseness is in his heart, plotting evil at all times. He sends out strife, therefore his calamity comes suddenly. Instantly he is broken, and there is no healing. These 6 matters Yahweh hates, and the 7 are an abomination to him: a proud look, a lying tongue, hands shedding innocent blood, and a heart devising wicked schemes, feet quick to run to evil, a false witness breathing out lies, and one who causes strife among brothers. My son, watch over your father's command. Now, those are things that we can go and peer into our own lives and make sure that we don't fall in any of those categories. My son, watch over your father's command, and do not forsake the Torah of your mother. Bind them on your heart always, and tie them around your neck. When you are walking about, it leads you. When you lie down, it guards you. And when you have woken up, it talks to you. For the command is a lamp, and the Torah is a light, and reproofs of discipline, a way of life, to guard you against an evil woman, from the flattering tongue of a strange woman. That's false doctrines. Don't be caught up in these false doctrines. We only do that by understanding His Word, by reading it for ourselves. Verse 25, do not desire her prettiness in her heart, neither let her captivate you with her eyelids. For because of a whore, one is brought to a crust of bread, and an adulteress hunts a precious life. Would a man take fire to his bosom, and his garments not be burned? Would a man walk on hot coals, and his feet not be scorched? So is he who gives in to his neighbor's wife. No one touches her, goes unpunished. They do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his appetite when he is starving. Yet if he is caught, he repays sevenfold. He gives all the wealth of his house. He who commits adultery with the woman lacks heart. He who does it destroys his own life. He finds smiting and shame, and his reproach is not wiped away. For jealousy enrages a man, and he does not spare in the day of vengeance. He does not regard any ransom, nor accept your bribe, however great. When you mess with a man's wife, you're messing with his heart. You mess with his heart, there's no protection for you. Let's turn to Matthew 20, or Matthew 19. Matityahu 19. Verse 1 says, it came to be when Yeshua had ended these words that he left Galilee and came to the borders of Yehuda, beyond the Jordan. And large crowds followed him, and he healed them there. And the Pharisees came to him, trying him, and saying to him, is it right for a man to put away his wife for every reason? And he answered and said to them, did you not read that he who made him at the beginning made them male and female? And said, for this cause a man shall leave his father and mother, and cleave to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, what Elohim has joined together, let no man separate. All right, we just got through reading that in Proverbs, that a man of jealousy is hell on wheels. That statement right there, what Elohim has joined together, let no man separate. It is a warning, but it is also a fact of statement. Verse 7, they said to him, why then did Moshe give a certificate of divorce and put her away? He said to them, because of the hardness of your hearts, Moshe allowed you to put away your wives. But from the beginning, it was not so. Okay, we've talked about this before. There's nothing that my wife can do that I can't forgive her for, because Jesus tells me to forgive my brother, forgive my neighbor, and forgive my enemy. So my wife is always going to fall into those categories. If for the women, your husband's always going to fall into those categories. It's because of the hardness of our hearts, the lack of forgiveness. Verse 9, and I say to you, whoever puts away his wife except on the ground of whoring and marries another commits adultery. And whoever marries her who has been put away commits adultery. His taught one said to him, If such is the case, the man with his wife, it is good not to marry. And he said to them, Not all receive this word, but only those to whom it has been given. For there are eunuchs who were so born from their mother's womb, and there are eunuchs who were made eunuchs by men. And there are eunuchs who have made themselves eunuchs for the sake of the reign of heaven. He who is able to receive it, let him receive it. Same thing as Jesus when he says, Those who have ears to hear and eyes to see and a heart to receive. Verse 13, Then young children were brought to him to lay hands on them and pray, and his taught ones rebuked them. But Yeshua said, Allow the young children, and do not stop them from coming to me, for such is the kingdom of heaven. And having laid hands on them, he went from there. And see, one came and said to him, Good teacher, what good shall I do to have everlasting life? He said to him, Why do you call me good? No one is good except the one Elohim. But if you wish to enter into life, guard the commands. And he said to him, Which? And Yeshua said, You shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal, you shall not bear false witness. Respect your father and mother, and you shall love your neighbor as well as yourself. The young man said to him, All these I have watched over my youth. What do I still lack? Yeshua said to him, If you wish to be perfect, go, sell what you have and give to the poor, and you shall have treasure in heaven. And come and follow me. And when the young man heard the word, he went away sad because he had many possessions. That ought to ring throughout our culture today. I'm not giving up what I have to follow Yeshua. I'm going to believe what the pastors say, that all I got to do is say this little prayer, and then I'm saved and I'm good to go. Okay, you have it your way. Verse 23, And Yeshua said to his taught ones, Truly I say to you that it is hard for a rich man to enter the reign of heavens. And again I say to you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the reign of Elohim. And when his taught ones heard it, they were very astonished, saying, Who then is able to be saved? And looking intently, Yeshua said to them, With men this is impossible, but with Elohim all is possible. In other words, when Jesus calls you for real, you're going to do this, whether you're rich or poor. But to try to do it on your own, it's not going to happen. Then Kepha answered and said to him, See, we have left all and followed you. What then shall we have? Yeshua said to them, Truly I say to you, when the Son of Adam sits on the throne of his glory, you who have followed me in the rebirth shall also sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. And every one who has left houses, brothers, sisters, or father or mother, wife or children, or lands, for my name's sake shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. But many who are first shall be last, and the last first. We could really dig into that one. I'm not going to. We're already at 23 minutes. Go check into that one. Go check into everything we read today. See what the Lord would speak to you. I pray that this word is doing a good medicine in those who hear it. Even if you're just doing it on your own, you're not following me. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Hit the thumbs up, like button, or the thumbs down. That's fine too. Shoot a comment down there if you have anything to add or questions. I'll be glad to answer them. If I don't know, I'll go find out. Y'all be blessed, be encouraged, and always be frustrated. A soul-filled disciple, and I will catch you on the next ride.